Just recently, I saw um, in an LA paper, I think it's LA Times, this young boy putting his hand on his hip and putting his foot in all kind of how people saying that, you see, this boy is showing the girl, and he's going to be, a little homosexual. That he can't help it. He's born this way. And I say, I understand what you're saying, but you know what? These things, in other words, people are trying to reinvent the wheel because they went to university and they came out stupider than they went in. They come out, they don't have no education, they don't know what they're talking about. Because, I mean, we're seeing right now where people are trying to tighten up in high schools, and trying to tighten up in colleges. But for the longest while, these people have been just playing parties, sex, drugs, drunken, all kind of dumb stuff. And then they graduate, and then what do you think they're going to do when they get out there? They're going to do just dumb stuff because they have no education. And so what also happens is that because they have no education, they're going to try to reinvent the wheel, and they're going to be saying things that if they had studied, they will know that that's not the truth. For example, in high school, I learned that, you learned about conception. The guy, sperm, the lady, ovum get together, and it grows into this fetus, this zygote, this fetus, and then is born this baby with all this potential and so forth. And what we also learned was that the woman has X, the man has two types of chromosomes, X and Y. And if the X hooks up with her X, it's going to be a girl. And if the Y hooks up with the X, it's going to be a man. Now, folks don't seem to have studied this. So when they come out now, they're trying to tell us that, somewhere down in the pregnancy, a hormone kicks in, and then the sex of the child is determined. And nobody's challenging it because either they're playing political correct, in which they want to say stupid stuff, and people who should know better, they're going to leave them alone. So there's this mutual consensus of playing political correct and letting dumb stuff slide because everybody's going to make money and everybody's going to be happy with dumb stuff. But you see, this could also destabilize the nation. If we're going to go there as a big, powerful nation and just experiment doing new stuff and trying to come up with new ways of explaining something, and the new ways are just kind of bogus, it's not going to work. For example, if we come say now that, 1 million and 1 million equals $1 billion, and I take, 1 billion, 1 million, 1 million, they give me billions, and I keep going back every time, then they get bankrupt. Folks need to know the count, and people need to know the deal. So with this young boy who is demonstrating as though he's going to be a girl later on, look, I've done this in high school and in my early years in college. I looked at certain people. Some people are very outgoing, some are laid back and quiet. And we look in the homes, the ones that are outgoing, the mothers are usually quiet, and the fathers are outgoing. The ones that are kind of quiet, the mom is dominant and outgoing and controlling the home, even the father is quiet. But what I did in my mind is show that this same couple, that the woman is dominant and the men are kind of like cool, if one of those were at birth to be given to the home in which the woman is quiet and the husband is the dominant one, this child is going to end up being dominant. And when he goes back home to his parents, he can't function because he is different to his brothers. He's outgoing while his brothers are cool, and his mom is dominant. His mom and him are going to clash. His father and all going to clash with him because the father going to say, boy, you're going to cool it, bro. Mom runs this home, you got to listen to her. So, with this gay boy, there's nothing in him that is inherently making him want to be gay. It's just that he's living in a home perhaps where it's a whole bunch of women. And his mom always calls him in when she's having discussion with her girlfriends and talking people's name and talking about this and that and all that stuff. And instead of letting him go and play with the hammer and the saw and stuff like that, she got inside helping her to cook and helping her to clean and telling her about woman problems and all this kind of stuff. But you know what? Look, this guy does not have a vagina, so he's just going to waste time. Another thing too, and I think this is the primary thing. People are doing drugs when they're having these babies, and who knows what the drug is doing to these babies. I'm talking about the heroin and the marijuana, the cocaine and all that stuff, right? Prescription drugs too. But I think the most important thing is that at birth, they're handing these children over to Halloween. They're putting them into, various costumes, your Dracula, your, Bush, whatever. And when they grow up now, they're dominated by an evil spirit. And the Bible says it. when people refuse to recognize God as such and to serve Him, He's going to allow a devil to take over them, bring in a reprobate mind to them, and they're going to go after their own sex. So there's the bottom line now. On the other hand, where I live right now, there's a gay guy. I talk to him, I relate to him, okay, but I don't want him to come and touch my arse or tell me that to touch his butt or touch my penis. No, I ain't going in for that. But as a human being, we're going to relate. Good morning, thank you, please, hello, but goodbye. But go and come and sleep in my bed, let me hold your dick and all that. I ain't going in for that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm too grown. I mean, I recall when I was in Tennessee, this guy came from Alabama. And his family came over, his kids and his mom and sister and all them came over. And he's introducing them to his spouse, a man. The two of them sleeping on the ground. You know, I mean, it's like, this is ridiculous. You married, you have kids, but yet now you want to claim you're a girl. So, we need to tell these young people that, look, I think it's unconscionable to let kids grow up, experiment with something that we know shouldn't work, won't work. If they grow up older now, they want to do the thing, fine, but I think we should be acculturating kids, you know, orienting them properly. I mean, look, I know people come with all kind of arguments, and I ain't getting no argument with nobody, but all I'm saying is that as a responsible people, you need to put a child on the path that we have, through experience, believe and know to be the right. If he later on he chooses to go otherwise, who cares? But it's abusive, I think, by letting a child demonstrate gay stuff and playing each girl and end up, you know, losing his way, and then later on finding that, you know what, I wasted all my life. As a matter of fact, if all boys should like boys and girls should like girls, what can happen to the society? But this is what we're encouraging.